Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be putting up a video that I feel like I've been talking about doing for forever, that I've tried to film a few times before and I didn't like the way the footage turned out. I've been saying I'm going to be doing a collection video series for you guys, and I started by filming my face palettes collection, so that should already be up. I'll link it here. If not, then maybe I decided to put this one up first. So I'm finally going to do my eyeshadow palette collection. Now this is going to be a longer video because I do have quite a few eyeshadow palettes, and originally I was sort of sitting on the floor doing them and like trying to hold it with one hand in front of me and then trying to swatch and try and show you, but I didn't like the way it looked out. And I've seen a lot of people do palette collections where they kind of put the palette here and they talk about it and then they can swatch it and they have two hands free to do whatever. So we're going to try and do that today. I've got a lot of palettes to get through. I'm going to try and kind of go in brand order. So like all of my Too Faced palettes, my Urban Decay palettes I have one-offs on, I'm going to try and do it that way. Talk about them with you guys. Maybe do some swatches of some palettes, but not all of them. I'm going to stop rambling though, and we're going to get straight into this because this is going to be a long video. So the first palette I'm going to talk to you about, and that's just because it's sitting down below, is this one. This is, can somebody please tell me how to pronounce this brand? Is it Doce? Is it Decay? Is it whatever? I don't know. So this came in a FabFitFun, and this is just a highlighter, and it came with 4 little eyeshadows. This was the Freematic Eyeshadow Pro Palette Nude Eye Finish. So you get a bunch that are like these matte shadows on top. No, matte shadows are here, shimmer shadows here. A couple things I really like about this palette. One, the whole thing is magnetic, so all of the little bits are removable. So you could, you know, reuse this, restock this palette, whatever. Even the highlight comes out, which is really nice because I actually already have this highlight or had this highlight. Can't remember if I gave it up or whatever. So it's nice to know that like if I wanted to, I could take it out and give it to someone else, put a couple more eyeshadows in, whatever. So that's a nice thing about this palette. The shadows are fine. They're nothing amazingly incredible. The colors are nice. It's a nice nude palette. I don't think that there is enough variety of color. Like these are the same, these are the same, these are the same, these are the same. It's just a shimmer and a matte difference. And the shimmer ones, when you put them on, they don't look like they're shimmery. Like the shimmer all just goes to hell, except for when it's falling out all over your face. They blend kind of muddy. This is not a palette I love. This is not a palette I ever use. Honestly, it's been out of my drawers because I'm planning on decluttering it, and I just don't feel like making a home for it in my drawer when I know it doesn't belong there. If you feel differently about these palettes, I'm sorry. These are all my personal opinions and my experiences with them, so please don't take offense to them. But for me, this palette is just not worth it. I don't know how much it costs, and I don't particularly care because it's not one that I would ever recommend or ever gift. The way that I look about this is like, if I saw that in a store and I was buying makeup for someone, would I gift it to somebody? Not would I recommend it, would I give it to somebody? And that one is one that I definitely would not. So for the next palette we're going to talk about, this is one that I absolutely do adore, and if I could get my hands on this for people here, I would, and this was a gift to me. This is my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Mickey gave this to me in one of our like exchanges of makeup, and I adore this. It's the back, has tons and tons of shadows to it. It is a really thin palette, so it's great if you did want to travel with it. The one time I did travel, since I've had this, I went to the Dominican, and I just didn't bring it because I don't know how sturdy it is. Cardboard, so I didn't know how sturdy it would be tucked in my suitcase or whatever, and I didn't want to risk it breaking. But it comes with, I think, 35 shadows. Now there is no mirror on it, so that is one thing that like I do like to have palettes with really big mirrors in them. That's probably the one thing I dislike. Also, another thing to note, these shadows do not work wet in my experience. I thought that some of the shimmers might show up a little bit better if I wet them, as is the case with so many shimmery eyeshadows. Not these ones. These ones are perfect dry. I actually kind of screwed one up by putting Fix Plus on it. I think this one you can kind of tell has been like messed with. I think it's okay now. Yeah, it looks like it's fine now. Honestly, these are just absolutely stunning, stunning colors, super pigmented. That was one of the shimmers. I'll show you one of the mattes, this dark green, so you guys can see kind of how the dark colors show up. Fantastic. I don't know how much this costs because like I said, I didn't pay for it. But if you are looking for like a palette that kind of has a little bit of everything, this has mattes, it has shimmers, it has neutrals, it has darks, brights, bolds, everything in this palette. You could do so many looks with this. I actually almost started a video series that I was calling I was going to call it random eyes, random eyes, like eyes or whatever, thinking that I was a super crazy genius and I had all of these like names of all the colors in this palette in a jar and I would pull 5 and do a look with it or whatever. And then I found out there was such a thing as like palette bingo. So I was like, all right, I'm not original anymore. And I never ended up filming it, but you could do so much with this palette. So if you're looking for like a really good place to start off and you're looking to start off with some more higher end brands, I definitely highly recommend this because this has something for everybody in it and it is fantastic quality. This is the only Anastasia Beverly Hills palette I have. It is the Modern Renaissance palette. In my opinion, this one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that has gotten the most positive feedback. I know the Norvina palette has gotten a lot of bad feedback in some of the shadows, just like disintegrating under your touch. The Subculture palette wasn't very popular because the colors weren't that pigmented. I've heard really good things about the Soft Glam palette, but it just looks a little too similar to this one for me to spend the money on it. It is stunning. And maybe if you're going to get a Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, you get this one or that one, depending on which one speaks to you more. I love these kind of colors. I love the purples. These shimmers are just like, let me just show you like how absolutely beautiful are those. Just gorgeous. The mattes, again, super pigmented. These all blend out so well together. You can do, actually, considering there's only, I say only 14 shadows in here, there are a wide variety of looks. If you wanted to play tame, you could do this. If you wanted to go nice with all the reds and the pinks, you could do that. Definitely a ton you could do with this palette. It does have a mirror. It does come with a brush. It is still available. I absolutely love this, and I know so many other people do as well. Next palette I'm only going to talk about briefly because I actually just got this and just filmed a video. The eye look I have on today is actually done with this palette. This is the Violet Voss Flamingo palette. I bought it as an alternative because I couldn't afford to get the Natasha Denona Tropics palette, and I'm so happy. These are fantastic. You guys can see with the look I got today. They blend together without muddying up. They are super bold and vibrant. They look exactly on your eyes like they do in the pans. Again, a nice variety of shimmers and mattes. I haven't tried every color in this palette, but every color I have tried did not disappoint me. I absolutely love them. For high-end palettes, this is not super expensive. I think it was only $68. I say only $68, which does sound like a lot of money. But I mean, when you look at the Natasha Denona palettes, those palettes are into the hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Even, you know, this palette I'm pretty sure was $58. There's only really a $10 difference. Honestly, if you're looking for a fun, bright, colorful palette, I do recommend this one. The shadow quality from what I've seen so far is fantastic, and I just love the colors in this. So much fun. Another palette that people are no stranger to is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. A lot of really beautiful purple tones in here. Just an absolutely stunning palette. Different finishes. It says four textures. So you get mattes, pearls, duochromes, and then this glitter here. And the glitter is really pretty. It's like a chunky glitter. I mean, there is fallout with it. Where's my little wipe thing? There is fallout with it, but you're going to find fallout with most glitters, I find. And an easy way to solve that is to use something like a glitter glue. Like I know Too Faced puts out a glitter glue. But these are absolutely stunning. Again, with the shimmers, no need to wet your brush. These go on beautifully dry. Again, they blend so seamlessly into each other without muddying up. They are really pigmented. Another product probably within the $58 to $68 range. And I know that they still put this out, and they did just release another one. And I think that's just Huda Beauty makes beautiful palettes. I bought Mickey one of the Obsessions palettes, the bright one, just for some fun looks. And I know she really likes it. So I think as far as quality goes, Huda Beauty is one of the better ones for eyeshadow palettes. Next one I'm going to talk about is one that I've had for a while. This is my Ice Cream Dose of Colors palette. Again, a lot of really fun, vibrant colors, not as crazy as the other one. And honestly, I do like this palette. I think the shadow quality is amazing, but there's not a ton you can do with it. Like there's some neutrals, but not a ton. You're almost more committed to some kind of bright color. I just stuck my finger in, like, how beautiful is that mint? That's what makes it like so hard for me, because there's parts of me where I'm like, I have palettes like the Flamingo palette. I have like brighter colored palettes that I find that I'm using more than I was using this one. So there's a part of me where it's like, is it maybe finally time to part with this one? just to make more room in my collection. But then I see things like that mint green shadow and I'm like, oh my God, I love it so much. Like that mint green would go beautifully with the look I have on now. I don't know if this is still available. I bought it a while ago when I was just starting to branch out into new brands. This is one of the first ones I picked. And I do love this. I never travel with this because like I said, you're so limited to what you can do with it, but it is a good extra palette to have if you're looking for one or two of those really beautiful colors. And I have done full looks with this palette, but honestly, like I get excited when I look at those bright colors, but again, I'll show you super quickly. Like I love that green, but it's the only thing even like that in the palette. So how do you do a look using that kind of a tone? Do you know what I mean? Other than as like a pop of color, which makes it really hard to be super inspired to play with this palette anymore. So I'm going to have to think about that over the next couple months and try it and see how much I really love it, if I really love it. But it is a really, really nice palette to have. Next one we're going to talk about is my the Balm Voyage palette. This is kind of like a face and eyeshadow palette all in one, which is why I left it for this video because there's more eyeshadows than there are anything else. So this is the eyeshadow face section. So you get these 9 shadows at the top and it comes with some blushes, a bronzer, and a highlighter. And then on the bottom, you get these 2 lip colors. Now, I've never even dug into these. They're lip and cheek tints. I don't like cheek tints. I don't like liquid blushes. They just scare me. Every time I've tried to use them, they've ended up disastrous. And I tend not to use as much like lip stuff when it comes in pans. I prefer sticks. I just think they're more convenient. The shadows are beautiful. They blend really well together. But again, you're very, very limited to what you could do with this. I think I like this palette more because of like the cuteness factor. It's super cute. But again, when I've traveled, I haven't traveled with it. And I find that because it's like, it has everything in it, for whatever reason, I'm not reaching for it quite as much because the shadows are fine. They're good quality. But again, it doesn't inspire me to do anything crazy. If you're looking for a good face palette to travel with that has a lot of neutrals that are easy to work with, that would work with anything, maybe this is for you. But when I travel, I do travel with a fair bit of makeup. So this has never really found its way into that. Okay, so the next palette we're going to talk to is my Kat Von D Saints and Sinners palette. Now, apparently there's been a lot of controversy going on with Kat Von D's brand lately, and I'm sure there always has because she's always been kind of controversial. I honestly don't feed into any of that stuff. If I like the products, with the exception of somebody really, really going above and beyond, I use products for what they are, just as makeup products, not because I support the person, but because I like the product. So I adore this. I think it's a super, super fun palette. A ton of different colors in here. You've got all of your neutrals to do a more neutral look. You've got all of these super bright colors. They are beautifully pigmented, tons of different finishes in here. You have these 2 glittery toppers at the top. You could do so much with this palette. I like that it's a different shape. Again, there's a couple big mirrors just on the sides here. I keep sticking my finger in different colors, which is great. But I really, really like this palette. I think that you can really see a lot of inspiration from this. You can use this palette on its own. You can use it in conjunction with others. And the quality is freaking amazing. So if you are really like, if you're not one of those people like me that like really reads into controversy of like who's putting out the brand, definitely go check this out. It is fantastic. If you have any interest in it or have thought about it at all, I do urge you to do it. I think it's completely worth it in my opinion. Saying is I had these 2 Natasha Denona palettes and they were not inexpensive in itself. I think these were still like $50 for 5 shadows, which is ridiculous. I don't know why. They are amazing, amazing shadows, like absolutely stunning. They're all shimmery. If you guys can see that, this is the number 5 one, and I think this one's the number 8. Yeah. So they are all shimmery, which is fine. I don't mind that. Absolutely beautiful. But again, hard to do a look off this unless you're going for that super crazy blue look. Now this one is a little easier to do, but what I've noticed, and I'm sure you guys can see, is that like this is started crumbling and there's nothing I've done that caused it to do that. I don't know what is going on, but it breaks my heart because that was one of my favorite colors in the palette. And like I said, these palettes are freaking expensive. The quality is amazing, but I honestly, like, it's one of those things where like the quality is great. So for that sense, I want to recommend these to you, but I can't do it because of the price points. And ultimately, like, as much as I love having them, if I could go back, I probably wouldn't buy them because there are other shadows, other palettes that I own that the quality is just as amazing. Like, we'll get into some of them in a minute that didn't, like, you get 5 shadows for over $50. And then you talk about buying this palette that I think was either $58 or $68, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 22 shadows, like, that are just as good of quality. So it's like, why, unless you're really, 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 really wanting one of these, I don't recommend buying them. I just don't think that they're worth the money when you compare them to some of the other products that are out there. It's just my opinion. Sorry if you agree or disagree. Next, I have these Wet n Wild palettes. These are gifts that Mickey got me. So I have a trio, I've got a quad, and then I have this Not a Basic Peach, like one that has 10 colors in it. I'll be honest, I've only ever used this one, and I absolutely adore it. The pigmentation is amazing, and these are at a great price point, especially if you can't afford all the high-end makeup, or you're just trying to build your collection and get more colors and more choices and stuff like that. Highly, highly recommend these. They blend beautifully. I've done looks with these that are the same, if not similar, to looks I've done with high-end palettes, and they last just as long, and the pigmentation is just fantastic. I have not tried either of these out yet, just because they are a little bit more plain. And when I did try this, I was traveling with it because it was smaller, and I picked this one because I could do the most with it. It had that bright blue in it, but it also had all of the neutral colors I liked. But like I said, these are not expensive. They're very inexpensive, and they come out in so many colors and so many options. I think this is a great, great, great choice for somebody who, like I said, is looking to build into their collection more, or wants just pops of colors, like random pops. Like if you know that there's one particular color you need, like maybe you need a bright blue or a bright green kind of like set, this is definitely the way to go, rather than maybe buying like a full palette with it. Or if you wanted, you could just like buy an individual shadow, but if you're looking for like a little bit more, these are definitely a good way to go. Okay, now we're gonna talk about my BH Cosmetics palettes. I've got 4 of them. 2 of them were gifts and 2 of them I picked up for myself. This first one is the Zodiac palette. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I haven't even used this yet. I bought it with the intention of doing a Zodiac series because I thought that would be a lot of fun, and I still am planning on doing it. I just kind of got a little sidetracked from it with all the stuff that's going on, and also ShanXO just put out her Zodiac series. Now hers is going to be very different from what mine is because she is like a pro star goddess with makeup and I am not. But I bought this because I thought it would be a lot of fun, and I liked that there was the mattes in the middle and the shimmers around the outside. And BH Cosmetic is not expensive. It's a fairly inexpensive brand, but you're still getting great quality stuff. And I think I bought these on sale, so they're even less expensive. So there's 25 shadows in this. It's a little bulky, so I mean, storing it is not ideal. And like, I'll show you a picture on the back. Like, I get it's cute, the novelty of like the 12 colors, but they definitely could have laid this out in a better way to make the palette a little bit smaller for me, so I had more space for it. But from what I can see of it, I really like it. I don't know how the shadows perform yet, so when I finally do a video like that, I will let you guys know. Next from them is this BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. I bought this kind of to have like a bunch of bright colors. I thought it would be super, super fun. And I have used a couple of these shadows. I've used the orange for sure. I think I used this brown once. The few that I've used, I really, really liked. I haven't gotten a ton of use out of it yet, especially now that I've got all of these other crazy bright palettes. I'm hoping this one won't get eclipsed, so I will definitely make a note to play with it. But like I said, the few BH Cosmetics ones that I have tried, I really, really enjoyed. I think they are fantastic pigmentation. They blend really beautifully. They offer you, this one in particular has such a wide variety of colors in it. I just don't think that you can go wrong with trying out some of their products. I have their Special Occasion 39 eyeshadow and blush palette. I do not use this one very, very often, if I'm completely honest. I've never used any of the blushes. And the shadows are just so tiny, and the palette's just so huge. I just kind of, it sits in the back of my drawer because it's the only place it'll fit, and it gets lost in my collection. Again, it's a good palette if you are looking to build a collection with new eyeshadow colors and new blush colors. But for somebody like me, like I think every single color that's in here, I have in another shadow palette somewhere. I do love that green at the top. And I just don't think that there's enough bright colors in here. Like, it just seems very, very dark and neutral. And I like to be inspired when I'm doing fun looks to have bright colors. Again, the products are great. I have used these before. They blend beautifully. The pigmentation is good. Just another one that keeps getting lost. That's my only problem with these big palettes, is that the only place they fit in my drawer is right at the very back under all of the other palettes. So to get to them, I would have to like dig everything out. And a lot of times I don't have time to do that. So I just keep going back to the same ones that are closer up front, and I keep forgetting those ones and losing them in my collection. Then I have this Wild and Alluring palette. I use this one a ton because look at how beautiful the colors are. So these are like baked eyeshadows and highlighters. I've never really played with the highlighters too much, mostly because I think this one looks more like a blush to me. It is really pretty though, now that I'm swatching them. Ooh, I should have to use those. They are really pretty. These are fantastic. They are perfect for adding a little bit of shimmer to a look. Look at that beautiful color. That came off of this one here. And what I like is that you do that and you still don't lose that beautiful marbled effect. Like how gorgeous is that color? Oh my God, I need to play with this palette more. Let's swatch another one. I want to see what this dark one looks like. Oh, girl, beautiful. I need to use these more often. I don't know that I would ever use this to do a whole makeup look, but these are beautiful, beautiful for like a pop of shimmer or a lid topper, or what I like to do is put like a bit of shimmer right in the center of my eye, just for a little bit of definition. These are perfect for that. I have used these a ton for that, but I definitely need to use them more because I'm crazy. Next, I'm going to talk about the two Lorac palettes that I have. So I have this one here. This is in Mountain Sunset. It is absolutely stunning. Again, no mirror on it, but that's okay. They have tons of these sunset palettes. This is the one that I love the most. Mickey actually bought this for me. I adore this. The shadows are freaking awesome. Both the mattes and the shimmers. There's definitely more shimmers in here, but that's okay. And it's just a very different palette, I find. Like, I've got a lot of palettes, and I've never seen one that has quite this color combination in it. You've got your neutrals, but then you've got, like, these, like, deep tones in them. And like I said, it's supposed to be based on a mountain, and you've got this beautiful, beautiful, vibrant copper. Like, look at that. How stunning is that, right? Like, just absolutely gorgeous. Then you pair it with, like, this purpley kind of, like, ow, I poked myself in the eye, lavender sort of a tone, and then into this smoky blue. Like, these are just beautiful colors. I love playing around with this because I've gotten so many looks out of it. Like at first glance, it looks like it'd be really hard to get a lot of cohesive looks out of it, but it is not at all. I adore this. And again, if you're looking for like a Lorac palette to get started with, pick your favorite sunset palette and go with it because they are not super expensive. They still come with 10 pretty decent sized shadows and they are just beautiful quality, beautiful. And speaking of Lorac, we're going to get into this. This is one of my favorite palettes. This is my Pirates of the Caribbean Treasure in the Stars palette. Looks like this. This was really hard for me to get, and I adore it. Again, a ton of fun colors in it. You've got this bright blue, this beautiful green, the same kind of shimmers and mattes that were in the Mountain Sunset palette, and you can do so many looks with that, and it comes with a huge mirror on it as well. Also comes with a little eyeliner. And if you did end up getting the little cheek palette, it has a little home for it right here too, which is super cute, which is actually where I should keep mine, but my fear is that I'll keep it in there and then forget I have it. So I don't know that this is available anymore. And like I said, I bought this online, and the only reason I don't use it super a lot is because of how big and bulky it is. Like I wish it wasn't. And I kind of wish the shadow sizes were a little bit bigger. They are kind of tiny, but I absolutely like, oh my God, this red though. Like how freaking stunning. So pretty. Guys, if you haven't yet, try Lorac products out. I want a pro palette so bad because if it's anything like either of these, I just know that I'm gonna love it, love it, love it. Next, we're gonna talk about another one-off palette I have. This is an Alamar Cosmetics palette. I got it in a Boxycharm. It's just got these 8 shadows in it, these kind of fun, beachy sort of tones. Like, these just scream beach to me. I don't really know why. 4 mattes, 4 shimmers. They are beautiful, beautiful shimmers. Like, oh my God, it was like butter. I barely put my finger in it. And the mattes are actually pretty good as well. Again, not a palette you could do a ton with just because it's so tiny, but for quality, absolutely stunning. I don't even know where you would get this. I'd never heard of this brand before, but look at that color. So happy I have it now. I think this is the last one-off palette I have. This is the Laura Lee Los Angeles Party Animal one. I can't tell you how it is because I haven't used it yet. I've heard bad things about it. I've got to try it because I have to be able to review it for you guys in my Boxycharm when I get it this month. It's September. Maybe what I will do is I will do a look using this. Like I'll try like another whole face full of fun makeup or whatever, because this one I did and I absolutely adore it. So maybe I'll try this one too and see how it goes. Or I'll do a kind of like video dedicated to like last ditch efforts. Oh, I should do a last ditch effort series. We're going to do that. We're going to do not with this because I've never even tried it, but products that I have that like I kind of like that I'm not 100% sure if I want. I'm going to do a last ditch effort series, try and use those products and see if they're worth keeping or not. We're going to do that. This will not be in it, but I will try this and let you guys know how it goes. Now I'm going to talk to you about my two Tarte palettes. The first one I have, this is the Graveyard Girl Swamp Queen palette. This is an older palette, has 9 shadows and 3 face colors. This was like the first Tarte palette I ever had, one of the first Tarte products I ever had, because I love Graveyard Girl so much. The colors are really great. Tarte does make some really, really pretty shadows. Like that's one of the matte shades. I don't even know if you guys can really see it. No, not really. Like that's one of the matte shades. That's the same one. It's just a blendable shade. But again, there's not a ton you can do with this. There's nothing bright or bold. This is more of like an everyday palette. I think the intent of this was that you could use this and really do your whole face on any given day. But again, I don't reach for it a ton unless I'm really, really like, I need that one particular color in the palette. And there's nothing wrong with it. The quality's fine. Again, it's just get lost in my collection. This one, however, and it may seem kind of boring, I have the Tarte Tartelette Toasted palette that I love, and I take this everywhere with me because I love a neutral eye. It goes with absolutely everything, and I adore these kind of bronzy colors. This is how I know how much I love Tarte shadows, because the shimmers are fantastic, the mattes are amazing, they blend so freaking well together. You get the most beautiful looks. They don't require wetting down. Like I said, this palette's fantastic. Of all the Tarte lip palettes, this is the only one that I've ever really gotten a huge urge to get. And I am so happy I did, because I love it. If you get the chance and you're like me and you like neutral kind of bronzy toned shadows, please pick it up. You will not regret it. And for a high-end brand, Tarte is probably one of the less expensive ones. Like it's still not cheap, but definitely less expensive than some other ones. So I have 3 NYX palettes. So the first one I have is this NYX Ultimate Brights palette. I've also cracked one. I don't have anything special to say about this. It's fine. I honestly bought it because I knew I needed, like, this was one of my earlier palettes. I knew I needed it because I needed certain pops of color, and this had a lot of them in it. I think I bought it at St. Patrick's Day for the greens, to be completely honest. I never reach for it anymore. Again, if you're looking for like a bright shadow palette that won't break the bank, NYX is maybe the way to go. They do pretty much like high quality stuff for not high quality price, although some of their stuff is getting to be a little bit more expensive, which is getting annoying, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's nice. It's nothing special. Do I think that there are bright shadow color palettes out there that are better? Yes, I do. For the price point, I don't know. Again, I don't even use this anymore because you guys have seen all of the other bright shadow palettes that I have that I like more. So this is in my collection for now. It probably will not be for much longer. Then I have this Love You So Mochi palette. This is one that Mickey got me. It is all shimmers, really pretty pastel. This is the Electric Pastels one. I only really ever use this for like pops of color, like if I'm looking for a shimmer to add to a look. They are fantastic quality, really pretty, but again, not a palette I could do a full look off of. And then I come to this, and the reason I come to this is because I would say that this was like more expensive than I was expecting for a NYX palette. I think it cost me in the $30 some odd range, which is not expensive, but for NYX, for what they claim, like they're supposed to be high-end brands with low-end prices, it was just too expensive for me. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just getting a phone call. I was talking about the NYX Wind palette. This is just the one I have. They did put out a bunch of Element palettes. I honestly only bought this to use for Mickey and my Disney series, which has totally derailed, by the way. So I got to get back into that. It's been my fault. It's not her fault. It's been my fault. 100%. I take the blame for it. We will get back into that because I really do miss doing that. And I miss doing collabs with her. And I miss talking to her as much as I used to, because I have been a horrible friend lately and kind of completely fallen off the face of the planet. Anyway, so I bought that for a Cinderella look, I'm pretty sure was the look, or a beauty. No, we haven't even done that yet. Maybe it was Sleeping Beauty. I don't remember what I bought this for, but I bought this for something. And, you know, it's fine. But again, like I couldn't do a full look with this palette. This color here, it looks so pretty in the palette, and then it just kind of comes on to nothing. Like it's not bad quality. It's just also like, that's really nice. You know, it's not bad. It's just nothing crazy amazing. I definitely have better palettes. I've seen better from NYX for sure. And this is just an all very dark palette. Like there's no light, there's 2 or 3 light colors in here. Everything else is just dark. So again, I bought this for a particular purpose, but I can't imagine somebody like really going and like wanting to get this because it's not a really good all around palette. It just has a lot of darks, and like these 3 colors right on top, like, I don't know how similar they actually are. but they're not that different either. You know what I mean? Like, let's look. Like, why do you need all three? You could definitely get away with just one. I don't know. I just don't love the way that, I know I own this, but I don't love the way it was put together. And if I could go back, I wouldn't buy it again. I also realized I just did all my Tarte palettes and I totally forgot this one because it sits out on a desk because it doesn't fit. This is the Be a Mermaid and Make Waves eyeshadow palette. I really, really like this. I'm not a fan of the pan size, but I know why they did it. It was, again, to go along with the theme. They're supposed to look like little scales. Really, really cute. Some really fun colors in there. Mostly like these pinky shades. Again, not a huge variety of colors, but you do get these pops of color up here as well. And they are fantastic. Same quality as everything else. Same smell as everything else. I say because I can smell vanilla right now. It says 99% mermaid on the top. Super, super cute. Another novelty-like thing. Would it be the first Tarte palette I would recommend? No, but if somebody were to ask me honestly, do I like this? Do I use this? I love this palette. I honestly forget about it now because like it literally sits out on a dresser because it doesn't fit in the drawer. And I go looking for palettes in the drawer and I completely bypass this. Like I gotta stop. I gotta stop doing that. And there's a huge part of me that feels like as much as like I have my channel and I love makeup and this and stuff, I need to pare down my collection and start using the stuff that I have because I'm just losing it at this point. I have got two ColourPop palettes. I have got the Element of Surprise palette. This came in a Boxycharm. It's a lot of these fun like pinky kind of shades. It's more of a warm palette. Really, really pretty. ColourPop shadows are awesome. I do prefer their, what are these things called? Super Shock shadows. The Super Shock shadows that come in like regular pan size as opposed to their pressed ones. But their pressed ones are really, really nice as well. So that's like one of every of the different finishes. So you've got like a matte. They're really pretty. This is like a sparkly shimmer and this is more of like a satin. Really, really pretty, beautiful colors. I know that this is like supposed to be a ton of pinks. I have a lot of palettes like this where they have like more of these neutral and pinky tones. Like I think that this palette and even this, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it without knocking everything of my life over. Like, I don't think that these are all that different from each other, to be completely honest. Like that pink may be a little brighter. There's a little silver in this, but are they all that different? No, they have a lot of the same, oh my God, or similar colors in them. Oh, that really hurt my rib. I like leant down to get the brush that fell out of the palette and I just like really, really messed my rib up. Oh, that's okay. It's not broken. I've broken a rib before. It certainly doesn't feel like that. Like I said, I didn't choose this palette. It came in a Boxycharm. I do really, really like it, but I don't reach for it all that often because I think I have that Modern Renaissance palette. And even though that pink is absolutely beautiful, I'm pretty sure I have other palettes with that color in it as well. But the thing about ColourPop is how affordable it is. And this is another brand kind of like NYX who has extremely well priced items. Like I think this palette might have been like 20 bucks or something like that. Like that's extremely well priced. Their lipsticks are $6. They're, you know, so the brushes are only like between like $5 and $12, which is just outstanding. Like so amazing. And the products are amazing. So like ColourPop, especially if I keep saying like Wet n Wild if you're building a collection, but I also highly recommend ColourPop. And this is the Perception palette. This was in the Shayla collaboration. Beautiful, beautiful palette. It has a lot of bright and bold colors in it, but they're almost more like subdued because they are in a little bit darker of a family, kind of more metallized. The one look I did with this, I felt like I really screwed up, but you guys actually seem to really like it. I do need to film some more using this and play with it some more because some of these colors I've never used and I'm just so excited to. And there's another one of those pinks that's just so similar to the other one I had. Absolutely stunning. Let me do one of the mattes for you now. I have swatched this whole palette before. If you guys do want to see it, I will link the ColourPop Shayla haul I did up. Oh, I just stuck my finger in a shadow. Up on my channel, but really, really pretty, really nice. They do blend well, but like again, there's a lot of colors in here that like you couldn't really put in a look except as a pop of color. So I don't know if that is a standalone palette. Just the way I feel. And I kind of also judge palettes as standalone and as like accent palettes. So like a lot of those really bright, bold ones, like although, you know what, normally I would be like, no, I wouldn't do a whole look with this. And I have like, as I've been sitting here and filming more and more and more, you'll probably see like 5 videos with this look. I am loving it. And as I've been sitting here longer with these false lashes on that at first I thought were too much, I have been really liking them too. And I'm wondering why I don't wear false lashes more often. I mean, if you watch the video where I put them on, you'll understand because I really struggled putting them on, but hey, what is Beauty is pain, right? Super quickly, I'm going to talk about this palette. Now, this is obviously not a palette that you guys can buy. This is a palette that Mickey custom made for me, Beauty and the Beast palette, and I adore it. She took all of these different shadows and matched them to the colors on the case. I don't remember what shadows these are. She has told me and I can't remember, but these are fantastic. I just wanted to show you this, not so much to recommend it to you, but just to round out my palette collection so you guys could see every palette that I had. Now we're going to get into my Urban Decay palettes. Urban Decay is one of my favorite makeup brands. I love their lipsticks. I love their concealers, their foundation. I love everything Urban Decay. Their shadow palettes are no exception. So they have 4 big naked palettes. I have got 3 of them. I know they also have like their Naked Basics and their Smoky Naked whatever palette, whatever. But I only have 3. First one is the original Naked palette, and I am heartbroken to say they are discontinuing this. So if you want this, get it now because it will be gone. And it is definitely reduced pricing right now. This is what the palette looks like. It is the original basic palette that kind of you could do everything with. You could do smoky looks, neutral looks, light looks, sparkly looks, everything with this palette. And I adore it. Does it have fun pops of color? No. Could you wear this every single day without missing anything? Absolutely, you could. The quality is amazing. This was kind of like the starting point for like all of the other shadow collections that started doing the bars straight across. Honestly, if you guys don't have this palette and you have thought about it at all, please get it. It is so good. This color in particular, Half Baked, absolutely amazing. And I do know, I think it comes in, is it this one? It definitely comes in at least one of the other colors. I think it comes in the Naked 2 palette as well. The Naked 2 is kind of similar to this. The Naked 2 palette I find is like a mixture between the Naked and the Naked 3 palette, which is why I don't have it. But this one of all the Naked palettes is by far my favorite. So like I said, discontinuing this, get it now if you have any urge to get it all. I also have the Naked 3 palette. This one is all of like the pinks and rosy kind of tones. It looks like this. More of a specific palette, like if you like these pinky kind of tones and stuff like that, definitely worth it. I got this because Megan had it and I really liked it. Again, it's the same quality as the original Naked palette. The colors are just different. If you're not into these pinks and purples and stuff, obviously this isn't the palette for you. But if that's something you've been looking for is like those rosy tones, I highly recommend this one as well. The case is a little different. This one comes in a metal case, whereas this one was like the velveteen case. They all come with like a super big mirror on them and they all come with a brush. These are just fantastic. I'm just going to show you a couple colors here. We'll get Trick. Let's do Dark Heart. And I want to pick one of these lighter matte colors. Let's do Limit. So there's the 3 colors right there. So it's like a sparkle, like look at how beautiful. And like, I forget about this palette all the time. I never even knew how beautiful that dark color was, like how pigmented it is. Because a lot of times you get those dark shadows and companies just like miss a beat with them and they get patchy and really hard to work with and you have to build and build and build. But like, obviously that one you don't. So again, another one that I would highly recommend. I would highly recommend most Urban Decay products, to be completely honest, but the Naked palettes are awesome. Then I have the Naked Decay Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, and that is all of these colors. Of all the Naked palettes, I mean, I don't have the Naked 2 palette, but this one's probably the one that most people would think. Sorry, my battery was starting to die, so I turned on my battery saver and it cut the video off completely. So this is the one that I know most people are the most disappointed about because like a lot of the colors are just the same. Like you don't need On Fuego and, you know, Ashes. You don't need this color and this color. Like these colors are almost the same. A lot are the same, but the quality is there. So I don't know. It's another one of those things that's going to be a personal preference. I like these kind of colors. Honestly, do I use this palette a ton? No. Could I do without it? Probably, but I do really like it as well because of the quality that Urban Decay puts out. So again, that's a personal preference palette. If those colors really speak to you, go for it. If not, maybe skip it and buy another one because there's nothing that great about it and they did double up on a lot. And then I also have the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is a fairly new one to me and new in general. I think this is the newest palette that they put out. I have done one look during using this and I am planning on doing a bunch more. I'm kind of like dabbling between like a couple series ideas right now. Like I said, I was going to do my amateur hour series. I was going to pick that back up and do looks that like the little pamphlets give you, see if I can replicate them. But I also want to do like a 3 looks 1 palette kind of thing. Like do as many of these as I possibly can. Sorry, my battery saver keeps turning on. I'm going to just go grab my phone cable and plug it in and hope that my phone doesn't overheat because I don't want to lose this. So give me 2 seconds. All right, so hopefully that'll last for a little bit longer now. Sorry if the camera moved, I knocked it over at the same time. Anyway, I want to do something where I see how many looks I can get out of one palette, or I think I said with the Jaclyn Hill palette that I was going to do like a randomized palette, which I still might do, kind of like a palette bingo. We'll sort of see. Or I know Mickey and a lot of other people take like 3 palettes and they try and do the same look with like a high end and like a drugstore and stuff like that. So I don't know. I do need to play with this more. Again, are there any really fun, like bright colors in here? No, but it is a more wearable, everyday kind of thing, and you can still get a ton of looks out of this. Now we're going to talk about my Too Faced palettes, and then we will get into the MAC palette. So the first ones I'm just going to briefly roll over because I did just talk about these. These came out in the Tutti Frutti collection. I have the Razzle Dazzle Berry and the Sparkling Pineapple eyeshadow palette. I have done looks with both of these on my channel, and they are in my Tutti Frutti haul as well if you guys want to go check that out. So this one is all like different purples, and then you have this one which is more neutral tones, and then that green actually shows up as more of like a brownie kind of color, but that's okay. Really good quality for the most part. I had one problem with one shadow in this one, and that is the end shadow. Like it just kind of disintegrates into nothing. They smell fantastic. They are a little bit pricey. So of all of the palettes here, again, it's all personal preference. Unless you are really spoken to by these, do I 100% recommend them? No. Am I happy to own them? Yes. Do I think the quality is good? Absolutely. And I have loved the looks I've gotten out of them as well. And they always put the little like brochures in with Too Faced stuff every single time, almost every palette ever. I have to find mine, but I have them for every palette I've ever gotten from Too Faced. And they always put like the little pamphlet in that shows you all the looks you can do. And I really like that because it's a really good way to try everything, know how it should look, and know how they actually perform. Next, I've got the Sweet Peach palette. This is an older palette. This is the first Too Faced palette I ever got because I wanted all the chocolate bar palettes, but as you guys know, or if you don't, I am allergic to chocolate. I'm allergic to cocoa powder, and that just seemed like a really bad idea. So I got the Sweet Peach palette. Again, is there anything, you know what, now that I'm looking at this might be a stretch, but let's just for 2 seconds here. Did I just realize something? Do these have a lot of similar colors in them? I only thought that because I was looking at that purple and I was like, this one has a purple, looking at that green. This one has a green. Anyway, it does smell like peaches. It has another one of those tins. There's an okay sized mirror. These are really good quality. Are there a ton of looks you can do with this? Honestly, no. Most of them are going to be neutral looks because most of the colors in here are neutral, but still a really nice one to have. And if you're like me and you can't touch chocolate, maybe a good alternative. Then I have the Too Faced I Want Candy palette. This one, the obnoxious thing about it is it's supposed to look like a candy tin. Even the back has like all these little candies on it that show you what colors they are. But it's kind of bulky and really annoying. That's the only thing that really bothers me about it. It smells exactly like candy, and then this is what it looks like when you get into it. I barely ever touch these colors except as all over the lid colors, to be completely honest. Like, I find that they're all so similar. They could have maybe done some a little bit different. Like, this is just a slightly more peachy color. This is more pinky. This has a little shimmer in it. Like, why couldn't you have done like a deeper color here, or I don't know, just change them up a little bit, but that's not the point. The one thing I do love about this palette is that it separates them kind of into looks. So like this could be a whole look, this could be a whole look, this could be a whole look, or you could jump all over the place. There's a good amount of mattes and shimmers. The shimmers are fantastic quality. Mattes are just great. Blend out so well together. I've made so many beautiful looks with this. I absolutely adore it. And I think it is still available. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is, and it smells like heaven. So just a thought if you're interested in it. Again, it's not a ton of shadows in there. There's not a ton of options. It's so bulky for what you get, but I like it. And then I have these two Too Faced peach palettes. So this is the just peachy mattes, and this is the white peach. I'm only showing them together because they're like the same shape. So this one came out first, and this is all matte. So if you are obsessed with matte shadows, this is probably the one for you as long as you like the color range. Again, it's a lot of like warm tones, neutrals, that kind of thing, which works for most people. Most people do like that, other than, I know some people prefer cool tones. I think I like warm tones more. I don't know. I kind of like all makeup. Really, really pretty. I've done some really nice looks with this. Again, do I think that they could have done something different with some of these colors? Yes, but they are sticking to a theme, a peach kind of theme, so there's really only as far as they could go. Really, really beautiful. But like I said, it is all matte, so if you like a shimmer, not the palette for you. The white peach palette, however, does have a mixture of shimmers and mattes in it. Looks like this. Another palette that kind of like, I'm sure they had a place that they were going with it, but some of the colors in here make almost no sense. Like, there's a ton of pinks and stuff, but then all of a sudden you got these blacks and this like random purpley blue color. I don't really know where the inspiration came from this. Really, really pretty palette. Nothing special. Like, the quality is great. The colors are nice, but nothing, oh my God, amazing. You guys have to have that. Just the way it is. I kind of feel that way about this. And the only reason that I highly recommend this is because it is an all matte palette. And it is really, really beautiful. And I know a lot of people do prefer working with matte shadows. That's the only reason I would say, yes, go out and get this. But this one, I'm kind of like, you're not really missing anything. And it's like, I find myself saying that and knowing that I'm probably going to keep the palette. But ultimately, are you really, really missing out on something not owning that? Probably not. So now we're going to get into the biggest part of this collection. I'm looking down on the floor because that's where they all are. We're going to talk about all my MAC palettes. I'm going to breeze over them as quickly as I possibly can because there are a ton of them. So let me grab some. Alrighty, so a lot of the palettes that I have are limited edition. I'm going to talk about them all over the place though, kind of. I'm starting with my bigger palettes and then I'll get into all of my like square palettes because they're kind of all in a row in my palette drawer. So the first two came out in the MAC Holiday Collection, the Snowball Collection that just released. They were this Snowball Eye Compact in rose gold and in gold. This is what they look like. You get 6 shadows. The quality is not amazing. The color variation is not great. You know, they were limited edition. They're nice to have. Nothing special about these. Honestly, I'm not even sure I'm going to keep both or one of them. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out later. I got to play with them a little more. They come with a brush. You can't get them anymore, but even if you could, I don't know necessarily that I would recommend these because these do not have the same quality that normal MAC shadows normally come with. And I do find that that is the biggest problem that MAC has, is that sometimes when they put out limited edition collections, the quality is just not there, and it's unfortunate. I also have this little Nico Panda quad, and you slide it over and there's a blush underneath. I've only ever used this like once or twice. I really got it because I loved this minty color, but now I have other palettes that have that exact same color in it, so I don't really know that I'm going to keep it. It's a cute little thing. It has a little panda on it, but again, I think this is cute because of the novelty aspect. It's definitely not really worth what I paid for it. And you can't do a whole look off this. Maybe you can, but I can't do a whole look off of this. It just doesn't speak to me. Another one that I only got for 1 or 2 colors in it, and I ultimately regret that decision. So I have these 2 MAC. These came out with the Fruity Juicy collection. This one is an Oh My Banana, and this one is Love in the Glades. I actually used to have the 312, which was like Fruit a la la, and I got rid of it because it had a lot of pinks in it, and so does this one, and I didn't need both. So this is Oh My Banana. I actually do really, really like this. I think the pan sizes are quite decent. It used up all the space that it had. You could definitely make a look off of just this one thing. It's absolutely stunning. They are almost all mattes, so that's good, but there is that shimmery color there, and even if the other ones are shimmers, they're very light shimmers, more like a satin than a real like pearl or something like that. What are these? Frost, Luster, Satin, Satin Matte, yeah. So, okay, so that's the only one that's really crazy. The rest of them are kind of more subdued, but really, really pretty. I really like these colors. Again, I find that these get lost a lot, but I wish they wouldn't. The other one I have is Love in the Glades, and this one had more of like those greens and stuff like that. This one I find less wearable. Again, I'm sure you could do a whole look off this. I have not tried yet, and maybe I should to see how I like it. The quality is fine. I've used a few of these colors here and there. These are one of the ones that MAC didn't really miss on the quality of. They blend beautifully. They're super pigmented. Like, here, I'll just show you. Like, they are really, really pretty, really, really pigmented. But again, this is a very, very specific kind of palette that I think only appeals to certain people. And while I'm literally wearing green eyeshadow on my eye right now, I don't need all of that green eyeshadow because I have a ton and I have more that I'm going to show you. So that's another one that might end up disappearing from my collection. And then I have this giant palette. So this is my MAC times Jeremy Scott palette. This is the Lo-Fi eyeshadow. It came with 29 eyeshadows, which is a super random number. Couple things I hate about this. I think it's super cute. It is definitely good for the novelty aspect and for the collector in me, which is all good and fine. I get why the inside is the way it is. It's supposed to be like those sound bars and stuff like that. But look at all of the empty space. Like, and look at how small the palette sizes are, like, what, or the pan size are. Why couldn't you make them bigger and use up more space? Why couldn't you make the palette smaller and put them in differently? Why 29 shadows? You know what I mean? So at first look, it looks like a lot of fun colors, all this, but honestly, the quality of these shadows is just not there. I've gotten some looks from it that I really like, but I really had to work for them more than I wanted to. Like, I'll try and show you guys, like, you know, it looks fine and whatever. No, that one's not that bad. Like, they look fine when you swatch them, but I do find that they are harder to work with and they are falling out all over the place. Like, that one's really pretty. I don't know. See, now I'm swatching them and maybe I'm picking the wrong ones, but I can remember when I swatched this originally, I wasn't overly impressed with it. I guess I'll have to play with it a little bit more to see. Anyway, I think this is over. It was limited edition. You can't get it anyway. But a lot of the reason I have it is for the novelty aspect, and I just don't know if that's worth keeping it anymore, especially because, like, at first I was like, oh, it's perfect. It's got so many fun colors that I don't have in this and that. But I swear I have half these fun colors now. So I'm really going to have to play with this, see if I change my mind about it, and, you know, really, really get cutthroat and maybe get rid of it. So I also have these 3 MAC times 15 palettes. So my most heartbreaking one, I have to tell you, this Mellow Moderns palette, which is my favorite of the 15s because I think it has the most to offer. It's got some purples, and purples used to be my favorite color to wear. Neutrals, darks, golds, everything. This is unavailable now. They discontinued it, and it is a shame because it is absolutely, absolutely stunning. I love the MAC times 15 palettes. The quality of these is the same as their single shadows. And with this one in particular, I've gotten so much use out of. I can do smoky eyes with this corner. I can do a purple look. I can do a bronzed out look. I've got this little pop of green, this little pop of gold. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous palette. I'm really upset they got rid of these. And if you are looking to get MAC palettes, I think that these are the best bang for the buck, unless you want to make your own pro palette, which is always an option. But I think that these are the best way to go because you get the most variety of shades and finishes and stuff like that without completely breaking the bank, and you kind of know that you at least have some colors that will go together in cohesive looks. So I also have these two, which look kind of similar from far away. I guess they're kind of similar. I don't know. So this is the Warm Neutrals palette. It has got all the warm kind of like bronzy and sandy and pink tones and stuff like that. They also did a Cool palette, which I bought for Mickey. So I'm just making sure my phone's not overheating like crazy. I'm going to have to unplug it in a minute, which I got from Mickey because cool tones aren't really my thing, but she didn't have any cool tone palettes, so I thought I'd get it for her. I really, really like this. I love the quality, but again, like, there's so many, like this, the Tartelette Toasted palette, there's so many of these neutral palettes out there. I don't know if I could really say that one is so much better than the other because these still, I think, are $85. Like, they're not inexpensive, but they're not crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't know. That's going to be a personal choice for you guys. I like them. I'm happy I have them, but, you know, everybody's different. The In the Flesh palette, again, it was supposed to be MAC's attempt at an all nudes palette, all neutral colors. The thing I like is you can break it down by the row here. You can break it down by the three here. You can go all over the place. Of the 3, this is the one that I get the least use out of because it is so plain. A lot of the colors are the same. They're in the same tone. This one can get a little muddy depending on what you do because, like, you know, some of these pinks are the same as some of these grays are the same, you know, all of that stuff. And surprisingly, as much as I love MAC shadows, I find that whatever reason, like, the black is not black. Like, this is carbon. I've had it in a single shadow. I've got it in a couple palettes. It's not black. It's almost like a dark gray, like a charcoal kind of gray. And that's a little disappointing to me as well. So this is still available, but I don't necessarily recommend this one. And if I got rid of any of them, it would be that one. So now I'm going to talk about the MAC Girls palettes. I have done a whole video on this in the past. I have the 5 of the original 6, and that's because I got rid of one of them. I gave one of them away because I hated it and I never used it. So I gave my Fashion Fanatic one, I think, away, whatever it was called. Fashion something or other, because it was all like deep pinks and the pigmentation wasn't great and I just didn't like it. But I kept the other 5 and I don't have any of the new ones. I think there's 3 new ones that came out, but that's just because I wasn't using the ones I had. So the ones I have are Basic Bitch. So this one is like the most basic of them. It's got kind of all your neutral colors. It's fine. Again, I don't love the way they put these together. Like, there's so much more space in here. You could get bigger pant sizes. Why are some pant sizes so much bigger than others? It included like a highlighter, and I just don't think that was necessary and whatever, but whatever. The colors are nice. They're super pigmented. I've swatched them all. I have used them all. They're fine, but again, this doesn't inspire me, this particular one. This one is in Power Hungry. It's supposed to be like all golds and stuff, but again, there's nothing amazing about this. They're all kind of like one-dimensional, one-tone. Like, if they're going to be a gold, like, why don't you have a deep gold or like a bright gold or something like that? Like, that's beautiful. It's a nice gold. It's like liquid gold. It is stunning, but it's nothing that's going to make it pop, that's going to make it super, super obvious that you have a gold shadow on. You know what I mean? That's more of like a subdued gold. This one is in Mischief Minx. Probably one of my favorite ones that came out. This one has a lot of those deeper, darker oranges, colors like that. This one is also the one I think they did the best matching the case to. There's a lot of colors in the packaging that are the same as in here. Really, really pretty, but another one that, like, I just don't find myself reaching for all of that often. This one is in Prissy Princess. This has all of like the pinks and stuff like that. I feel the same about this one as I do about Basic Bitch. It's just like, meh. Like, it's like bleh, like nothing. Like, you don't look at it and you're not, maybe you are, but I don't look at it and get excited. I just kind of look at it and I'm like, okay, just another MAC palette I have. This one is the only one that excites me at all. It's got all of these bright blues and greens and stuff like that. And it is things like this that make me think I should get rid of that palette. These are fantastic. Like, I really do like the quality of these. I don't think that they missed on these like they do with some of their other limited edition stuff. But, and they also don't break the bank. Like, of all MAC palettes, these aren't crazy expensive, but they're also not cheap. And really, when you look at the product you're getting, it's not a ton. These are definitely something I would say skip out on if you are thinking about getting them, unless there's one that just speaks to you so, so much that you need to have it. They're nothing super special. I don't recommend it. I definitely don't recommend that you get all of them unless you're weird like I am and need full collections, which I don't even have anymore. These will probably slowly over the years or over the next little while be purging themselves from my collection because I have them and they're just taking up space because I'm never using them. Now we're going to get into all of like my like little ones. There's quads and then there's like 5 ones and then there's ×9. So I'm going to get them all. There's a ton of them. We're going to talk about them super quickly. Alrighty, so these are the ones that I'm talking about, these little square ones. A lot of these are limited edition. A lot of these are unavailable now, but I'm still going to show you anyway just so that I can round out my palette collection. First two we're going to talk about, these came out in the MAC Mariah Carey collection. Again, nothing special. These, the shadow quality is not particularly amazing. And they're both kind of neutral. Like, I would have thought for Mariah Carey there would have been more glitz, more fun, more something, and they just weren't. You know, I think I like this one a little bit more than this one, but they're both fine. I honestly never really use either of them. So that whole use it or lose it thing might be a really, really big series that has to come out so I can really see if I remember liking these, if anything, because I honestly don't remember. I like the packaging though. It's cute. Next one, this is a Riri one. I do really like this. This kind of has the 5 strips to it. This was limited edition. It is definitely unavailable now. And you can see I've gotten a lot of use out of it. They are all shimmers, so you have to be, like, I have to be okay with that. I find that a lot of times I do need to mix another palette in there. But there was a time where I was just doing full looks just with this, and I was fine with it. I do really, really like this one. Of all of the limited edition ones, this one is one of my favorites. I didn't want to say my favorite because I had to dig, but one of. So then I have a couple, I've got a bunch of Patrick Star ones. So he's put out 5. So these 2 Patrick Star ones are the first initial 2 that came out in his original collection. They are in Patrick Star Glam AF and in Goal Getter. Again, they're so similar. Like, I didn't need both, if you know what I mean. Like, they're quite the same. This one's a little bit darker. This one's a little bit lighter. I don't know. These, the quality is actually pretty good on. I do really like these. And these are a really cute idea if you are really liking the colors in them and you want to travel with them or something because they are so tiny. But, I mean, I don't know. You only get 4 shadows. When you look at how much 4 shadows cost, they are definitely worth the cost. But, you know, whatever. This one is the most recent one I've gotten. This one came out in the summer collection. I really, really like these reds and stuff like that. Really, really good for like a red kind of a look if that's what you're looking for. And that is the other thing I like about these quads is that you can normally do one complete look with these, but that is it. So there's not a lot to play with in it. It's kind of like you have one option and that's it. So it makes it easy, but at the same point, you can't be super creative with these. And then I have these two, which are a little bit more fun color. These came out in the spring collection. You've got this one, which I like it, but this blue is just out of nowhere. Like, it's a really pretty color, but like, I don't know how you could cohesively do all of that. This one is a little bit more cohesive. It's got all of these purples and stuff like that. Again, I think I bought these as full kits. If these had been on their own, I wouldn't have bought either of them. I have enough pinky kind of shadows and big pops of blue and stuff like that. I definitely didn't need either of these. Limited edition one I have, this one came out with the Vibe Tribe. This is called Call of the Canyon, and I absolutely adore this one. Of all of my quads, this one's probably my favorite. I am obsessed with this peachy kind of color. I think that it makes a really, really beautiful neutral look. Again, only one look to be done from it, but like, you've got a very good all over the color. You've got this bright pop of color here. This could be an, you know, a crease color to deepen your crease. Then you've got this deep dark color for the outer corner. This one to me is the most usable, cohesive palette, and I absolutely love this one. I have two more quads that I picked up at some makeup things. So this one is all shades of purple. So that's probably the reason why I said I didn't need that Patrick Star one. I have a lot of purples because at one point I was only wearing purple eyeshadow because somebody told me purple eyeshadow makes green eyes greener, and my eyes are green some of the time. So I really, really went all out and bought tons of purples. This one was one. And then this one is a smoky eye palette. It's supposed to give you a really good smoky eye, but I kind of wish that they had changed up one of these colors because I find that they're quite similar. Either a darker gray or a full black would have been nice, but still really nice palettes to have. If you know, like me, at one point in time that you love wearing purples, why not get this? Because you'll get so much use out of it if you're using it every day. But now I rarely ever use them unless I'm like, I know I need one specific color of purple. Let's go get that one. This one came out in the Flamingo Park collection. This is a 9x palette. Again, kind of all over the place because you've got your tons of pinks. These kind of make sense, the blue. Then there's this random dark brown, this random color. Again, hard to do a cohesive look with this. And the pinks, like, why didn't you do a deeper, darker pink? Why didn't you do a brighter, like, purpley kind of pink? Like, these two are so, so similar. I don't even know. Sometimes when you look at the way palettes were, like, conceptualized and put together, you kind of wonder where the train of thought was. Then I have this palette. This is the Tropic Cool ×9. There was also like a red one. I absolutely love this. I think that this one is beautiful for doing a full look with. I like the 9x palettes because you can do a little bit more with them, and they still are more or less, other than maybe this one, kind of like cohesive and like you could see how all the colors fit together and whatnot. I absolutely love this. This is one of the only cool eyeshadows that I do have, eyeshadow palettes. And I do get a ton of use out of it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. This blue in particular is just stunning. Like I absolutely adore that blue. I don't know if this is still available, but if it is, jump on it. So I have two more. So I have this one. This is the Burgundy ×9. I took this with me on my Dominican trip. Again, another one that you've got a lot of a range of shades in it. You can do a couple different looks with it, and they still all play in the same color family. So really, really pretty. And then I have this one. This is Solar Glow ×9. I'm pretty sure this did come out in a collection, but I think it's still available. This one just has some more shimmers in it. And it's definitely cool toned and a lot more lighter colors as well. But the reason I do like these, like I said, is they're really easy to travel with and get a couple of decent looks with. And especially because the two that I have, I mean, these two, not so much this one, but these two are more like neutral. You can kind of wear them with everything. So that is all of the palettes that I have. I hope I didn't miss any. If you know that I have another palette that I didn't show, let me know, because it would be like me to skip it. I know how long this video was. I apologize for that, but I hope that you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. So if you like these kind of videos and want to continue seeing my collection videos, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you want to see me play with any of these palettes, if you want to see looks with any of them. Maybe you have them and you can't make one up and I can try. I don't know. Let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye. And note, I realized I didn't count all the palettes, so as I put them away, I counted them. I have 78 palettes. Let's just ruminate with that for a second. Ruminate? Let's just reflect on that for a second. I have 2 eyes. I don't need 78 palettes. I really am going to have to pare that down. Anyway, bye.